This is the Google Pixel 8, the cheapest flagship phone that you will ever use. And I say cheapest because if you go to the Google store right now, it is currently $549. And hold on, wait a minute. While the price is at a great place at the moment, there are a few things you should know before buying this phone. The highs, the lows, and the little things that most people won't tell you. And 1 month after its release, I am ready to share my thoughts. Let's go. Let's start this off with the design, and Google have made some great changes and not so great ones with the Pixel 8. First things first, the color choices this year are a lot better. It comes in black, hazel, and my personal favorite, rose, or is it rosé? I don't know. Anyway, the flat surface and the rounded corners makes this a very easy phone to use for a long period. Your thumb can reach all the 4 corners of your screen without any issues, and the weight is in a great place. It weighs 187 grams. While all these are great and nice to have, where Google made a mistake in my opinion with this design is the back of the phone. It is glossy, definitely will see fingerprints if you get the darker colors. Coming from the Pixel 8 or even the regular iPhone 15, the difference is very clear. I just want to add that some people might not care or won't even see this as a problem. I just want to point this out for anyone that is interested. The back is glass, so putting a case is always imperative. I personally don't like cases, especially when I'm inside the house, but once I go outside, it's better to be safe than sorry. At the bottom is a USB-C port and stereo speakers, which are some of the best at this price point. There aren't a lot of things Google did wrong with this design. If I had to nitpick this any further, I wish the bezels were a bit reduced just a little bit, especially at the chin, but as a whole, this is a great step for the Pixel 8. Looking at the front, the display of the Pixel 8 is arguably the biggest upgrade this year. The brightness has been upgraded massively from 1400 nits on the Pixel 7 to 2000 nits on the Pixel 8. So the visibility issues I had when going outside last year has been completely fixed. Also fixed is adaptive brightness. It instantly responds to darkness or extreme brightness from the sun, and it is pretty intuitive. Coupled with the fact that this now has a 120Hz refresh rate, further elevates the Pixel 8 away from mid-range status to flagship status. But remember, this can go only between 60 to 120Hz. Also, another thing to point out of the box, the high 120Hz refresh rate is set to 60, so be sure to go into your settings and turn it on. Ultimately, this is one of the best displays that I have used in 2023. One thing that needs to be discussed is the fingerprint scanner, and I'm not its biggest fan. With the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 7, we could give Google a pass, but 3 years later, I think it is time for Google to implement an ultrasonic fingerprint reader. It just makes the experience worthwhile. Plus, the fact that this shines in bright lights each time I use it, especially at night, is a minor annoyance. What I believe Google put emphasis on this year is Face Unlock, and boy, is it fast. Majority of my time with the Pixel 8, Face Unlock has been my primary way of unlocking my phone. It also reminds me of how fast it was on the Pixel 4 XL. I'm glad because it is a faster way to get into my phone than the fingerprint reader, and hopefully the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro will have an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner at this point and just put this issue to bed. Battery life on the Pixel 8 is, well, it isn't great at first. Quite frankly, the first few days are pretty mid or average, but if you stick with it for about 4 days to a week, the adaptive battery will kick in. It learns the core habits and begins to deliver good battery life. I do end my day with my phone still on about 20%, which gives me 6 to 8 hours of screen on time on a good day. I mean, sure, it could be better of course, but remember, this is a small form factor and the display also goes down to only 60 as opposed to 1 Hz like the Pro versions, so these things tend to matter when talking about the battery. When you really think about it, when did 8 hours of battery life become a bad thing? It works for both power users that use social media every day and of course the conservative ones. My only worry, and if we're going by past experiences with the other Pixel phones, the batteries of the Pixels tend to significantly reduce over time. Of course, it is 6 to 8 hours now, but how will it be in 6 months to 1 year or even beyond that? These are the questions that I'll eventually find out and let you guys know. Now, before we move on, I'd like to give a special shout out to Temu for sponsoring this video. Christmas time is almost here, and for most people, getting the right gift is very important, and that is where Temu comes in. Temu is an online shopping center where you can get insane deals on high quality items. For many months now, I have been looking for a quality wireless charger without breaking the bank, and voila, I finally have one and I can charge my Pixel 8 and the Pixel Buds Pro at the same time. Their website has a ton of tech items that you can shop from, and Temu is ultra affordable, by the way. And I mean ultra affordable, with great shipping times, so your items will come to you before Christmas period. Did I mention they have free shipping on your first order with a 90-day free return policy? It's pretty mad. One look at this site and it felt like I was a kid with a taste of freedom to buy anything I wanted. You get all your gifts before Christmas by using this code at checkout, and you also get a $100 bundle to buy literally anything you want, and I mean anything. So yeah, go nuts.
Come on, let's get nuts.
Thank you Temu for sponsoring this video. Next up, we have the cameras. And on the surface, it does not look like much change with the cameras on the Pixel 8. It still has a dual camera sensor, but when you closely look, there are a few internal changes that are a step up from the Pixel 7. The main sensor now lets in more light with an f-stop of 1.7, while the ultra-wide got its biggest change, having the same sensor on the Pixel 7 Pro with a wider 0.5x lens, which also means it supports and gives the ability to have a macro lens, something the regular Pixel 7 did not have. Until this day, I believe the Pixel phones are the best cameras to take pictures with, especially of people. Real tone is a feature from Google that I really love, and this helps me get my exact skin tone in my pictures, so I can easily just point and shoot and not have to worry about how I look. Also, the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro now have an AI feature called Best Take that easily makes bad group pictures a thing of the past. I've used it many times in the last month and with great results. I also just want to say it's the easiest to use in any setting whatsoever. You don't really need to think about angles or, sometimes the lighting conditions, because the image processing tool or the software does most of the work. The ultra-wide lens is pretty good and adds more depth than last year. Low light pictures are great with good dynamic range and good color accuracy. Video is okay with a lot of light in your favor. Where it begins to lose its quality is when the sun has set. You begin to notice a lot of grain with each video you take. It is also worth pointing out that the Pixel 8 will not get that new Video Boost AI tool. That is only reserved for the Pro version. So if you plan on taking a lot of videos, then the Pixel 8 might not be the best thing for you. Without a doubt, there are improvements that need to be made, especially with this video, but overall, my experience with the camera on the Pixel 8 has been very satisfying. Finally, let's talk about the performance and software experience on this phone. First things first, this phone is very smooth, and I mean just scrolling through the phone, on your apps, and many other things. It is well thought out with how Android 14 is integrated. The animations, the wallpaper changes, even how to lock the phone or unlock the phone with the screen animation is pretty good. It is worth saying that Android 14 has been bug-free for me, which is a plus considering how bad the Pixel 6 was. Apps respond on time, RAM management is also great, plus when you're playing some mobile games, it is still fine. However, there are a few key areas where you begin to notice the limitations of the Tensor G3 chip. Using some of the AI features takes a lot of time. Look at Magic Eraser for example. To implement any major change, it takes a while to do that. Same thing with others like Best Take and the audio remover feature. With all that being said, considering the complaints and the issues that are present, I still love the Pixel 8. It has a lot of things going for it, the form factor with the beautiful display, and the best camera in any smartphone when it comes to taking pictures, and it has those AI features. If the $699 price tag was a little too pricey for you, They have reduced the price to $549 for Black Friday, which is a steal. Black Friday or not, this is one of, if not the best overall experience you can get on an Android phone at this price point. But that is just one man's opinion. Is the Pixel 8 the best budget phone in 2023? Comment down below and let me know. And as always, if you found this video useful, smash that like button and subscribe, as this goes a long way for me. Thank you guys for watching. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.